Okay, ignore the little bit of noise in the background. But originally, in a couple seconds here, I'm going to show you the fuel tank. I had to modify it, and you'll see why there's the noise in the background. Originally, this has a 5/8 opening in it. And again, due to ethanol, this rubber is rock solid. The fuel lines have rotted off of these, and they don't bend at all. The new assemblies that they have out there and the new grommets that they sell are approximately 7/8. So you do, and you can, I should say you can, and you do have to modify your fuel tank assembly. The part number, if I didn't show it before, is this guy right here. This is an Oregon part number. There weren't any Walbro parts. This here is the fuel line. When I was asked to take a look at this unit and see why it was leaking oil, and well, you gotta love ethanol, don't you? Especially, I guess this was sitting, this hasn't run for about 5 years, so we'll see how that works. I also kept this. It kind of tells you how the fuel lines go together. This fuel line here goes to the top part of the carburetor, which I'll show you in a minute, and it just dumps right back in the fuel tank. That's the primer. So on here, that would be this hose, the blue hose, and then the black line would be the fuel line as well. So we'll see how all that works. There we go. So anyway, originally this hull accepted this fuel grommet. Like I said, this was 5/8. Reamed this out using a file. Sorry. Reamed this out using a rectangular file. Put it in here and evenly just rotated it gently like a drill bit. Sanded the plastic a little bit with 150 grit sandpaper, and then some 1000 grit. Used a little bit of my favorite stuff, PB plaster. And all you have to do after that is, as you see, there's just enough room to enlarge that to approximately 7/8. But I want this to be a little bit tight so that when the ethanol starts attacking this rubber, from what I've seen, it usually shrinks. So I want a little bit of tension on there, but not too much that it's going to pinch your fuel lines. Kind of going to make it like this. This one had the fuel filter on the end of it, so it was just enough to lay on the bottom of the tank. Didn't make a whole lot of sense considering there's fuel over on this end, but that's how it was. That's how we're going to put it. So when you put this down in here, we're going to hit that with a little bit more because it's evaporated some. You know, just work that in there. Don't want it too loose, but you don't want it too tight. So there. We got it in by finger. Well, I didn't get much footage putting it together. Don't see any leaks. I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, maybe a little bit of seepage here. Major fuel lines, connections look good. Took the spark plug out, cleaned it. I did fill it with gas already. piston head's got an awful lot of carbon built up on it. So mixture screws are 1.5 each. Like I said, this hasn't been running in the last 5 years. Still have to make a choke lever for it. Need an air cleaner because that was rotted. Everything was rotted on this. Air cleaner, primer bulb. So we're going to see how this goes. A little bit of gas leaking out of the fuel cap, so it looks like the breathers. Let's see what we got.